Many congratulations to the top three finishers of the F1 Sprint here in Shanghai. In third place, Max Verstappen. In second place, Oscar Piastri. And winning for Ferrari, Lewis Hamilton. Lewis, what a weekend for you so far. Your first win in red. How special is this moment for you?
Sorry, we're just haven't been up here for a while, so it's a little bit new. That was a really special weekend so far. Actually, Shanghai has always been really good to me since my first race here back in 2007. It's a track that I really do love driving on. It's got so many great challenges throughout. It's one of the best new layouts or new tracks that they've built over the years, over the last couple of decades. So, but yeah, to arrive today, it's a much different view starting from pole. It's been quite some time since I've had that view, so I got in the car extra early because I just wanted to be present and enjoy it because I haven't been there for a while. And good start, and challenging race. I think it is generally really close between all of us, but the tire degradation today was pretty huge. I think for everybody. So I think for me it was just trying to manage that early on, and then the last like 5 laps or something, I was in a really pretty comfortable position. So it's hard to put into words what it feels like to. Obviously, it's a sprint race; it's not the main race, but even just to get that's just a good stepping stone to where I'm working towards.
You say it's a stepping stone. Just how much confidence does this give you for the remainder of the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, the car was feeling really good today, so I'm definitely. I think hopefully we'll make a couple more changes to improve the car going into qualifying this afternoon, and we won't change too much so that we've got a pretty decent platform so far. So definitely feeling good, but it's, as you saw yesterday, qualifying was incredibly close between the top three, and I don't think Lando got his lap, so it'll be very difficult again this afternoon, but we'll give it absolutely everything.
Right. Very well done to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lewis. Oscar, let's come to you now. A great race. You needed to be tactical in terms of how you looked after the tyres. How difficult were they to manage?
Yeah, tough. Probably one of the more difficult ones in terms of tyre degradation. So I knew I had to try and be patient, and I think I pretty much executed the sprint that I wanted to. Probably one position short of what I wanted to, but I think in terms of how I went about it, I was happy with the end result. So a pretty challenging race, but happy with the points.
And can you pinpoint areas where you can still improve the car ahead of qualifying and the main Grand Prix?
I think we've got some good ideas. I think the difference between qualifying and the race in terms of what you want from the car and what the tyres need seems to be quite big. So it's going to be a balancing act for sure, but I think we've got some good ideas on what we want for certainly tomorrow and even this afternoon. So I think the pace we had in the car yesterday was good. I think we just, in hindsight, would have done a few things a bit differently in qualifying. But I think the pace is there, and there's plenty of confidence going into this afternoon.
All right, very well done to you. Thank you. Max, let's turn to you. Great race. Just how soon into it were your tyres starting to suffer?
I would say like midway, that you really started to feel that the deck was kicking in. It just seemed a little bit more aggressive for us than maybe the cars around us, but I think that just comes from maybe also not having the base space. You try to hang in there, and you naturally just destroy your tires a bit more. So, I mean, to be in the top three, I think is still a good result for us. I mean, we started a bit more ahead than I think we should have anyway. So, pretty pleased with, I would say hanging in there.
Max, can we look at the reasons for the deg? Do you think it's down to the new surface? Is it down to the increase in tyre pressures made overnight by Pirelli? Do you have any ideas where it may have come from?
I think all of that, but it's the same for everyone. But for sure, I mean, the tarmac is very good. I like it. It has a lot of grip, but it does seem that we are struggling a bit more with graining. Pressures went up a little bit as well. Probably that made it a bit more difficult for everyone. So it will be, I think, a very challenging race also tomorrow.
Very well done to you. Let's now open this to the floor, please. Who's first? Johnny?
John Noble from the race. Lewis, congratulations. You're in a totally different place with the car this weekend compared to last weekend. How do you explain that step change? Is it that the setup's kind of improved? Is it you're more comfortable and know what's needed from the Ferrari and the pace, and how much is down to kind of track characteristics, that it's a front-limited track?
Yeah, I think, I know it's just like every time you get in the car, you're learning more. I would definitely say just last week, for whatever reason, I really didn't feel comfortable in the car. Saturday was a little bit better, but I think setup wasn't where I would really want it to be. And I think really last weekend, I still am sitting back and letting the guys do what they do. I need to observe how they like to operate rather than imposing, because what I've done in the past won't work. So I'm just basically been in that area. And then coming into this weekend, straight away on Monday, I'd hit Ricardo up and I said, these are the things that I want to start with this weekend. This is more the direction. And I'm much happier with that. That's something I had tested back in Bahrain, and we kind of veered off from there. So there's been a couple of changes, but yeah, from the moment I started driving on yesterday, I felt more at one with the car. And you know, even through this race, like, I'm still learning, like, because I didn't get to do the long run in Bahrain. I didn't get to do the race run in Bahrain. So the race was actually, last race in the wet was my first long run in the car. So that was actually my first proper long run, really, of any significant amount of laps. So, you know, I'm learning along the way still just how this car, how to maneuver the tools in order to make the car work the way I want it to work. So I'm really happy with how it came out, given that is the case. But now I've got a much better knowledge now of what the car likes and what I need to do to make it faster.
Thank you, Lewis. Next one.
Molly Hudson from The Times. Lewis, you mentioned in your TV interview the detractors that you've had, whether it was last week or maybe last season as a whole. How satisfying is it to be sat there in first place again? And what is it that's making you click here that maybe didn't last season?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not really talking back to them or anything like that. It's just that it's like we live in such a strange time in the world that people just love to be negative at any opportunity, even with the smallest things. You know, to just be negative about it. And I think that's the difficult time that we're living in. I think so. I see certain individuals, and again, I don't really read the news, but I see bits here and there. See people that I've admired for years just talking out of turn. Clearly, some of them really just making uneducated guesses of what's going on, and like I was just saying, just a real lack of appreciation of just, it is not easy moving to a new team that works completely different characteristic of car. It's not like you don't just jump in and it's good. I mean, it is true if you look at Seb, you look at Fernando, they did a great job when they joined the team in their early phases, but to build long-term success with a team takes time to build, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to jumpstart it, get ahead of myself. I'm just taking my time to build with this great team. There's so much potential in this team. But for us to be at the second race already and have that experience, this is a track I've gone well for many, many years. So you got to take that a little bit. But in general, I've been feeling really good in the car. And as I'm learning more of where the car likes to be set up for a track like this, for example, when I get to another track that's like the last one, I think I have a bit of a better understanding of where to put it.
Thank you. Next, Alex.
Alex Callum, Autosport. Another question to Lewis, please. You said you got in the car a little bit extra early ahead of the start today. I just wondered, what were you thinking at that stage? What were the team's pre-race expectations? And then also, when did it become clear that you were onto a winner today? Thank you.
Well, I felt unusually calm in myself. I would say definitely more so than usual. I'm generally relatively a calm person, but I think today there was a stillness in me that I haven't felt for a long time, and I didn't know if that was going to be a good or bad thing, if I'm like dormant or just ready. But but also I've got, Ange and I, it's a new first, Ange is still getting used to things. This is our first sprint for ages, so even for her, we came to the grid and we happened to be there a little bit early, and I was like, shoot, we're earlier than normal. And just the timing, I was just like, I'm gonna get in the car, and it actually worked really nice. I got time to spend talking to the engineers from the car, and I think really from the moment, the good start that I had, I was really happy with the start. And then a couple of laps in, I kind of felt that I had, I was managing, so I felt like I had the car beneath me, but of course the two behind were pushing quite hard, and I could see Max was getting close in certain places, so I didn't know. And also the graining actually started appearing quite early. I don't know how it was for you guys, but already 4 or 5 laps in, you kind of already see it, even though we were managing. So I didn't know where that would go, but the fact is I think all of us were experiencing the same thing. So once I got calm there, kind of like after lap 6 or 7, I kind of got into my stride, and that was that.
Thanks.
Phil Duncan, PA. Lewis, I appreciate afterwards, after the race, you said that, now's the time to keep calm, but obviously great win, you're 7 seconds clear of Oscar, and everyone's saying that McLaren's, the car to beat this year, so that must give you real confidence that you're in this championship fight.
Well, I think it's just, look, we just come from a race where we finished 10th, so there are so many factors to really take into account. So I guess we just can't get ahead of ourselves of that one result that we just had and be like, yeah, now we're, the car felt good today, and yes, managed to finish ahead of a McLaren and a Red Bull, but that doesn't necessarily mean, if you look at qualifying, it's very, very close, so not making the mistakes is going to be key. And but I think we seem to be thereabouts this weekend, which is really good. I hope that continues, but again, from track to track, we'll have to wait and see. We saw last week we didn't have that. So I'm hoping that, there's a lot of learnings from last week that we applied already to this week, and the car's been in a much better place. So I hope that we can keep it there. And if we can, then yes, that makes me happy.